Well guys, as we build towards the release of Battlefield 6, leaks are becoming more and more frequent, on top of all the amazing official footage we're getting from insiders. Now, earlier on, we saw some pretty predictable leaks with Conquest and Breakthrough, but today, we're to the point where entire Battle Royale matches are surfacing across Reddit and Twitter, and DICE and EA don't really seem too concerned to shut it down. So today, we're going to take a bold step and talk over an entire leaked match of the Battlefield 6 Battle Royale. I'll go through the footage from start to finish, talk through my major impressions, and give you guys both the good and the bad from my perspective. Because while I'm hyped, there are definitely some things worth keeping an eye on. But before we dive in, if you enjoy in-depth reviews, breakdowns, and discussions on all things Battlefield, make sure to drop a like and hit subscribe. So right off the bat, the intro to the match feels a little weak, to be totally honest. Imagine a hybrid between Warzone's cinematic fly-in and the old Operations intro from Battlefield 5. Except here, it's less cinematic and much more bare bones. A little underwhelming compared to its peers, most of which know how to make every match feel like a true event. But while I'm pretty unimpressed, it's worth remembering that this is a leaked alpha, so there's every chance the presentation will change before release. Now, once you hit the ground, the map design immediately jumps out. Compared to Warzone, this map feels denser and much more layered. There's a much more even distribution of urban areas, suburban sprawl, and connective roads and ravines. Smaller details like railings, barriers, trash piles, and abandoned vehicles give firefights a much more grounded and porous feeling, where Warzone tends to focus on huge POIs with lots of dead space between them. Battlefield's map flows more evenly. Moving between areas feels closer to playing on a massive conquest map, and that's a compliment. It's the kind of flow that encourages consistent engagements without funneling everyone into a single choke point. Verticality is also another big difference. From rooftops and scaffolding to ravines and overpasses, there's a sense that positioning and map knowledge will be a huge factor. But here's where I gotta be a little critical. According to David Serland, the lead producer, this map is inspired by Southern California. Having been there myself multiple times, I just don't see it. Instead of bright coastlines and rich diversity in the environments, what we get here feels closer to the Gulf of Oman or Operation Firestorm. Dusty, gray, and utilitarian. It's not bad, but if you're promising a Southern California setting, you'd expect palm trees, coastal towns, and vibrant sunlight. Right now, it feels more like a desert training facility than an actual lived-in civilian environment. Battlefield is known for amazing atmosphere, so hopefully this aspect sees more polish before release. Switching gears, let's talk about looting, and here is a pleasant surprise. Battlefield, for once, isn't reinventing the wheel, which is a good thing. Looting feels tactile without being overcomplicated. Crates in vehicles need to be opened by hand, a nice little nod to more hardcore games like Escape from Tarkov, while the overall system looks clean and familiar to anyone who's played something like Warzone. The real innovation is in the integration of Battlefield's class system. Having Assault, Engineer, Medic, and Recon all in the Battle Royale sandbox creates synergy in squad fights you don't really see anywhere else. A Recon spotting enemies, an Engineer handling vehicles, a Medic keeping everyone up. It encourages teamwork in a genre that often leans too heavily onto pure personal skill and luck. And this is where some of the online criticism comes in. A lot of FPS fans have been calling the footage slow or even boring. Personally, I don't see it. Sure, it's not the bunny-hopping, slide-canceling chaos you'd find in Warzone, but that's also just not Battlefield. Instead, this is a much more methodical combat. Players are running into each other frequently enough thanks to the map design, and when they do, fights play out with a lot more options between cover, vertical positioning, vehicles, and gadgets, with that rich sandbox permeating the entire gameplay. And of course, we can't talk about Battlefield without talking about the vehicles. Firestorm tried to implement them, but here it feels like it's much more part of the world. Tanks, transports, and even helicopters pop up where you'd expect them, as well as alongside missions. And because gadgets are also in the mix, counterplay can still exist. You're not helpless against armor, which has always been my biggest fear when it comes to a Battlefield Battle Royale. You can even see our squad get obliterated midair as they let their guard down in the helicopter. But this is where Battlefield separates itself from Warzone or Apex. Those games live and die on gunplay, while Battlefield thrives in its chaotic sandbox, which is presented here in a seemingly controlled way. Now, moving on to what I'd consider the standout mechanic, the return of Firestorm's Ring of Fire, and it's possibly the mode's greatest feature. Unlike the generic shrinking circles and other BRs, this is a literal wall of fire that eats up the map. Buildings catch on fire, brush smolders, visibility drops, and yes, it does insta-kill you if you get caught. It's dramatic, it's cinematic, and it's uniquely Battlefield. More than any other element, this makes the mode feel distinct and dangerous. The storm feels like a character in the match, not just a timer. But after watching this entire match, as well as some other footage, I've got two big takeaways. Number one, it definitely feels like Battlefield. The destruction, the gadgets, the vehicles, the teamwork, it's pretty much all there. This isn't some generic BR clone with Battlefield slapped over it. Number two, while it feels like Battlefield, it also feels very safe. While the Ring of Fire and classes bring something fresh, a lot of the design choices feel like DICE is playing well within the standard Battle Royale settings, instead of rewriting them. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does make me wonder if the mode will stand out enough long term. But at the end of the day, what we've seen is promising. It looks decent for an alpha, it captures the Battlefield DNA, and it offers a slower, squad-focused alternative to the chaos of Call of Duty. But it also feels like the devs are still being a little shy after their prior failures, that they're now instead playing with their cards much closer to their chest. But guys, like I've said, I'm excited for this new twist on the sandbox, and I want to know what you think in the comments below. And like always, stay tuned and subscribe for everything else Battlefield, and as always, thank you guys for watching.